Welcome to my nightmare, Hydra Edition. Hello everyone, Bront, CatHerder here. We're having some fun talking Raid Shadow Legends, and we are here on the free to pause account because, as you can see, I have one keyed Hydra Nightmare with my account for the first time. This is actually the first nightmare key that I have really run, other than I think I ran one that was worth 1 million for a random, or not 1 million, it was like 100k for no readily apparent reason. That's been my clan best for a long time. But this is huge. This is one king nightmare, allows me to then take a team for brutal, and honestly, this was my normal team. I just refitted a couple of them. I've been throwing champs in here randomly. And finally, I just had finished Granite. I had mostly finished Molly. Quintus is, well, he's not really quite finished. He's finished. He's got all his masteries. He is not booked. I finished Donnie a long time ago. Mikey's sort of built. Lamasu's mostly built. That's, I guess, the kind of the fun part about this entire team. This team's not done. I'm going to show you the builds. I'm going to show you the state of these champions right now, just to kind of share this with you. I am super excited. Let me move myself for just a minute so you can see how much damage everybody did. Well, other than Lamasu, because I'm probably going to be in the way. Oh, good. I'm not in the way of Lamasu. So here we are. You know, 2 million by Lamasu, not too bad. Molly doing almost no damage, and that is fine. She is not built for damage. She is there to provoke and revive. Granite is actually providing an awful lot of support. As you can see, Donatello is doing a ton of healing. I like the blessing that he has, plus the fact that his A1s are going to be doing extra healing as well. And he joins in on his A1s with Mikey, is going to add a ton of damage. So Mikey and Quintus doing an absolute ton of damage on this account, making this a wonderful, wonderful team. So let's go show you some of these builds, show you how they're set up with, show you the team setups I have, and show you the state of the books, because the state of the books might surprise you as well with how well this team works. And maybe it'll force you, or not force you, I guess, but maybe it'll encourage you to push yourself in Hydra just a little bit. All right, so here are my builds, at least as far as some of the stats and how I have this set up here. I have Lamasu, who is starting this off with her Dread Domain, which is going to put block buffs and decrease speed on the champions. The decreased speed is kind of why I decided to throw her in here. She does decrease speed against bosses, making her very interesting against the boss. You can see she is not fully booked. I'm actually missing the cooldown on her, so we're, you know, hey, I did get all the 100% buffs and debuffs. That is great. 4-turn cooldown on that, but I've got her paired with Granite, so the block buffs should be up most of the time. That's actually very important. The decreased speed was just something kind of extra. She also throws the decreased attack here. This is not booked at all, so she's got a 50% chance. It can book up to a 70% chance. Not really doing too much. I do have this on a 4-turn cooldown. This is a removes all debuffs from a single ally, places an intercept stack on them, so they're not going to get the true fears. Also fills the target ally's turn meter by 50% and resets all cooldowns for the skills. Now, this is going to include all of my extra Hydra bonuses as well. You can see she's apparently at 100% crit rate. I'm not 100% sure why. It probably had more to do with the gear that I had to put her on to get her to the speed with enough accuracy. And yeah, she is, you know, leading the team, giving me a good 24% aura in all battles, going to help me in Hydra, and been very, very helpful. Again, that decreased speed plus that speed aura and the reset and cleanse, very, very clutch. Now, just to be aware, this was a full auto team as well. I did not touch this team at all. And honestly, the history of this is I ran a very similar team to this, not quite. In fact, I think I had Cleopteryx in here instead of Lamasu, and I had Donnie in the lead. I ran them through Brutal just to see how they would do on full auto. The full auto team did 56 million damage, and I said, I'm going to try this thing on Nightmare. And I tried it on Nightmare, and Cleopteryx was not up to the task as far as getting enough accuracy for her accessories or for her debuffs, so that wasn't getting a lot of the hex out there. And I decided, you know what, let's try swapping for Lamasu, getting the decreased speed instead, and that might help me take enough extra turns to, you know, beat the boss fairly well. So we got Donnie here. He's at, 303 speed. He's got some resistance, but honestly not enough for this particular Hydra. I believe he is in the build that I did in my Shogun team video. So he is in Relentless gear as well as some Immortal to regenerate and keep his HP up and alive and keep him alive. We are prioritizing the Secret of the Ooze because I want those continuous heals out as much as possible. Yes, that means that we're not always using the Shell Shocker, so we're not resetting constantly, and we're not getting the increased speed as much as we might like to otherwise. But it's still a good thing to do. This is going to get all the cleansing is really going to be a big deal because all the cleansing is going to keep all the poisons off, is going to keep some of the controls off, and just help the team overall, just do the things they need to do. Plus, Lamasu may occasionally reset. Donnie, I think, is the first person she's likely to reset, so that makes some sense for her to do that as well. Quintus is, well, first of all, Donnie is fully booked, so everything one of his skills is fully booked, including the heal 10% here. I figured I'm going to rely on healing. I might as well get the full book out of him. Quintus here, don't have him any programmed anywhere. Quintus's A1 is really effective, and he might not be using it as much as I might like because he's constantly getting back to the other skills, but he's not booked at all. And to be fair, he's got a cooldown here, so this is a 4-turn cooldown. He's got a bunch of extra damage here, that a 4-turn cooldown for the AoE. This is going to give some decreased defense and still pretty solid. Damage inflicted by this skill cannot be decreased by enemy passive skills or masteries, except for passive skills by bosses. So the bosses are still going to be able to bypass this stuff. And he's doing a bunch of extra damage with his extra passive ability here. That combined with this thing possibly hitting regular and repeatedly is part of what makes him an absolute beast. He gets this double hitter, making this a huge damage, and then he still gets this pure damage for each of these hits. And it's absolutely massive, and that's part of why Quintus is a really good Hydra damage dealer. And, again, not booked at all. And overall, he's built in lethal gear. He's built for the arena, and I don't have a great blessing on him. I certainly would prefer a 4-star blessing on him would be absolute. Molly Tankard. Honestly, we're making use of her passive, which is going to give me extra turn meter. So basically, whenever she's hit by bosses, you get an extra 25% turn meter. That's going to keep everybody going and going and going. I have her in regeneration gear as long as high accuracy gear so that this particular provoke ability can land regularly. And the reflect damage, it's not bad. It's probably going to get stolen a little more often than I might like, which is where all these block buffs are going to be very helpful. But the provoke could be up to 2 turns, and if she's fast enough, which to be at fair at 262 speed, combined with Donnie's additional speed boost here, the ability to possibly have increased speed on her as well, Lamasu's aura, and Lamasu being able to occasionally just activate somebody and give them 50% turn meter, Molly should be going fast enough that she might be able to keep this provoke up almost 100% of the time, and definitely 100% of the time if it is a 2-turn debuff. She does do some damage on this A1, but not particularly exciting. Damage increased if under AP burn. Yeah, not a big deal. She is booked, but she only really needs 1 book on this ability, and she's actually missing 1 book on her revive, making this a 5-turn cooldown instead of a 4-turn cooldown. Still a very good champion doing an awful lot of work. Granite is built for damage. His damage is not amazing, to be fair, but he does a lot of really good damage, bringing this decreased defense and block buffs. He is fully booked, at least on this ability here. His A1 hits pretty hard and has a chance to strip some buffs with enough accuracy, which he does have. He ignores some defense, and it's fully booked. So each hit can strip a buff. So basically 3 hits, he can strip 3 buffs from the target, which can be a great way to keep buffs off of these guys. It can help get rid of things like the reflect damage that can go on some of these bosses, get rid of things like the block debuffs that can go on some of these guys. It really can help you just doing a bunch of stuff. And this here hits really hard, but it's on a 5-turn cooldown because I don't have this fully booked. So once I get this fully booked, this will be on a 4-turn cooldown. We'll have this shatter and increase crit damage up just a bit more. And that is going to make, well, it's going to make the entire team do more damage. And finally, we have the damage leader in Mikey. He is in lethal gear, as is Granite as well, honestly, as is Quintus. So the 3 of them are ignoring some defense to do some extra damage. And he's going to do this ability here, 5-turn cooldown, because I do not have this fully booked yet, but it is a 100% leech and 100% decrease attack with that taunt. I would love to get this to a 4-turn cooldown. I just need a few more legendary books. And hey, the debuff spread happens regardless of whether or not he places this. That is a 100% debuff spread. The decreased defense not placing, well, I've got Granite placing it most of the time, so it shouldn't be a big deal, but it's nice that he can possibly do it as well. Technically, Quintus can also throw that decreased defense. So Mikey being able to spread these debuffs constantly can keep a lot of these debuffs up, which is very, very helpful. It would actually be nice if I could get a burn in on this team at some point in time, because with a burn on this team, Mikey can keep the burn going on a lot of different champions, and it just is absolutely nuts. But Mikey just doing a lot of really good damage, and again, not really booked. So I'm really impressed with the amount of damage that he's done. And again, I would love to get this to 100%. I'd love to get this to a 3-turn cooldown, this to a 4-turn cooldown. And yeah, he's constantly putting increased attack buff on himself for this because he's constantly hitting critical, and he's constantly doing that because he's constantly going to be A1ing with Donnie's attacks as well. And that's kind of what makes this team tick, is you've got Donnie and Mikey kind of doing a lot of the grunt work on both the damage, and then Donnie for the healing and support. Lammasu helping out with some of the other support and some other good debuffs. Granite bringing some extra damage, as well as somebody that can possibly break out somebody with this ability here. And yeah, I managed to do over 40 million damage on a single run. It actually was at 36.5 million, and I still had a couple champions left, and 3 champions left got me that extra 4 million damage on that team. So absolutely amazing, and this team has a long way to go. And honestly, I still have a bunch of things that I can do to increase the stats on these champions as well. Again, Molly, I don't think her masteries are set. I have all of her masteries. I just don't think I set them, which is an oops on my part, but it's amazing that this worked without them. So that's really, really good. Mikey's fully built, but he's not booked, not all booked. There's a lot of work to do on this team to make it better, and it still can get through Nightmare Hydra. So just to show you the gear before we get going here with this video, I guess it's going to be kind of a short video, but I was super, super stoked to be able to get through that. I was honestly not expecting to shoot a video tonight. I was not expecting to have that run be as good as it is, but I didn't really want to waste it. I wanted to share it with you guys because it's impressive for me how much I've been able to do in Hydra with some of these champions, and it might inspire you to think up and rethink what you're doing in Hydra, because I know the team that technically is the most fundamentally sound in Hydra that I use is at the moment one of my worst teams, and that's the first team I built. Some of that's just because I've gotten better champions and I haven't worked them into that team yet. Some of it is probably because I need to shift the gear around a little bit, and some of that is probably because, well, you know, just because it's a fundamentally sound team doesn't mean it's going to be the best team ever. Sometimes you got to just play around with things a little bit and see what works. And that's the fun of Raid Shadow Legends and the fun of Hydra. So again, my Mikey build right now, as you can see here, I've got him in lethal and pinpoint. So he's in 4-piece lethal and 2-piece pinpoint to get some of that extra speed. Got Donatello here. He is in the 4-piece relentless. He's got 2-piece chronophage and 2-piece of the immortal, or the immortal? The immortal, yep. So he's healing up a little bit there. We've got Lammasu here. She's in 3-piece Fury at the moment. I guess I could probably get her in 4 at some point, but it's not been worth it so far. 2-piece Supersonic, 2-piece Impulse as well. So she's getting a chance to reset her skills randomly, which is absolutely amazing. She doesn't even have all the gear rolled up to +16. That's how impressive this is. Got Quintus. He is in Savage and just other miscellaneous pieces to give him some extra speed or accuracy or whatever else. This just happened to be the best thing I had for him at the time, so he doesn't need the accuracy. Feral, not a big deal. I guess if I could finally find a feral ring to throw on him, that might be helpful as well. He does have the blood shield ring right here. This is both my best attack ring, and I think this was actually usable for when I had him in Curse City, used against the Scarab boss as well. We got Granite Doorkeep here. He is in 3-piece feral, 4-piece lethal, and 2-piece perception. That's all about getting all the extra accuracy, all the extra speed, and a bunch of extra damage on him as well. And, you know, he's been very, very good for me so far. I'm actually actually going to try to use him in Arena a little bit more. I've been enjoying him in some other PvE content as well, so I'm actually really happy I did the Granite Doorkeep fusion. And finally, Molly, who I was super stoked to pull. Took me a little while to realize how good she was, and I've kind of been sitting on her and Emic a little while and building them because I was like, I guess I got a spot for them eventually. And this is why I've been skipping the fusion for, Sanguine Maria. Sanguine Maria is great, even with the incoming nerf that she's going to be having. She's going to be a good champion, and she would be a good champion on this account. But I have so many champions I haven't built. I'm holding my own account progress back. And this is stuff right here that the resources I spent building some of these champions up recently are probably going to help prevent me from getting the fusion done. So instead, I'm going to make sure that I get Leonardo when he comes. I'm going to make sure that I have everything available to me to be able to, do a fusion after this next Sanguine Maria fusion as well. And I'm going to progress my account as far as I can while doing those two things. And that's going to help me have a better account and have some more fun playing Raid Shadow Legends. So guys, let me know down below, are you hitting Nightmare Hydra? Are you still struggling with Brutal or Hard? What are you doing in Hydra? Are there things that you might want to do a little bit differently? Maybe did this inspire you to try a different team in Hydra? Maybe something similar to what I've been using right now? I can tell you that Donatello and Michelangelo, I've been super honestly sleeping on them a little bit, and as I've been investing in them more and playing with them more and making videos on some of the areas that they've been helping this account conquer more, it's really helped me realize how good they are. And hey, Raphael's coming along pretty nice, so I might be able to use all three of these turtles soon in some of this fun content as well. And maybe I'll get myself a Leonardo, which would be absolutely amazing. So guys, hit that like button and hit that subscribe button. I like to make guides, I like to make deep dives, and I like to make little vlogs about my free-to-play account like this as well. You guys seem to like a lot of this stuff, and I really enjoy you guys as a community. You keep me going, you keep me doing what I am doing, and you guys are what help make Raid Shadow Legends awesome and make my community awesome. So I appreciate you guys. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful day. And until the next video, I am Bront CatHerder.